Hello there, this is Business Center right here on Metropol TV. My name is Kelvin Nyakundi. Now, I'm sure in your GHC, wale wa 1991, 1992, you know what this is. Or the now social studies, the millennial ones, you understand this really perfectly. Now, in primary school, you must have learned that rice is produced in where? I think you did. Maybe let's hope you did. Ever sat down and wondered why different regions in the country are popular for different crops? Well, it may have a thing to do with many other reasons like, weather, water, soil type, and most importantly, soil pH. And today we are going to be talking about soil pH and how it affects your crop production. But now we are joined by Bernard Ndungu, who is the General Manager for Daily Africa. Mr. Bernard, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome so much. Now, let us begin by you introducing what Fadhili Africa does.
Fadhili Africa is a company that specializes soil analysis, and we continue two type of soil testing, whereby we have for wet chemistry, so dry chemistry, analysis, and be able to give farmers results.
So sorry, Mr. Bernard, we couldn't get you quite right there. I think we have some internet problems. What we'll do, we go for. What we'll do, you can just repeat what you said so that at least the audience can get really what Fadhili Africa does.
So Fadhili Africa is a limited company that specializes in soil analysis. We are fronting a new technology in this country that uses such technology and we're able to do analysis. So farmers are able to get the results immediately they come with the soil sample.
All right, and now on the soil analysis, what does it entail, and why is it important for a farmer to have their soil analyzed?
There are many dynamics in the soil that may favor not the production of the crop, and soil carries the nutrients that are required for the crop growth. And the moment that there is in the soil, then we need to be able to achieve the biological potential of the.
All right, and now, Mr. Bernard, on this aspect, just sticking to it, there are people who usually just say they're going to go to their backyard and plant. Is it really how they plant their crops, or is it the soil that is the problem? Because you find that rainfall is abundant. You find that the soil they're using, they've been using it. So this the soil analysis, how is it that a farmer needs to take it seriously in order to make sure that their crops give good yields? Because you find that maybe grandmothers out there, they go behind the house and say, I'm going to plant my sukuma wiki here or my maize here. So expound on that.
So essentially what farmers should do is that crop takes the nutrients from the soil. And whenever we do production, whenever we do our are actually extracting and nutrients from the soil. And therefore, it will always be in the supply after. And there should be a process in which these nutrients are put back, either by addition of fertilizer or by addition of manure that meets what the crop requires. In general, farmers need to test the soil and be able to supply the nutrients that needed for optimal production of the farm.
All right, and what is the importance of the soil condition to a farmer, and how does it translate to good yields really? If you can explain to us so that we may understand on this.
What I normally say is that there are three factors that are required for optimal production. Number one is the variety of the crop, the other one is management, and the last one is nutrition. Nutrition carries about 60% of crop productivity. And farmers need this because they do take the right varieties, but now they have to subtract as and whether the nutrients are needed by the crop. So it's important that the farmers understand the nutrients that are required for those crops.
And now, for a farmer who is in the rural area, how do they really know how the soil, how to test their soil to see if they're nutritious or not?
Now, for the farmers in the rural areas, we have introduced in this country a new technology in which the laboratory now is going down to the farmers level. And the machines that we have, our technicians go down to the farms and analyze so give farmers the results at the farm level. We have different exchange technicians in different parts of the country, and also joined in, so that they also go to front the technology in the country and also in the different regions. We have also joined in different projects in this country that are also able to meet the smallholder farmers so that they can be able to access the technology. And the good thing is that since the technology is immediate, then the farmers are able to ask the question that they may require any qualification and give device and extension services in their farm or in a place that is needed.
All right, and you've spoken about a technology. Can you expound on this technology that you have started?
Yeah, we have a technology that is called the soil scanners, and they are portable gadgets that farmers, that our technicians go to the field with them and analyze and test soil for them at the farm level.
All right. Now, in your analysis as a company, what can you say that some farmers are doing wrong in an attempt to get a good production?
As we all know that in this country, most of farmers are guesswork, which is which has been counterproductive. And so the best thing is that the farmers be able to analyze yes and get the results that guides the production. So soil testing there becomes an important aspect.
Can you kindly repeat there, because we couldn't quite get you on that point?
So what I'm elaborating is that farmers have always what we know that the extension services in the 90s, our government said people collect soil samples and they devise parameter device. But now we are devising the farmers to be able to test their own soil, so they get to know what's happening in their farm and what type of fertilizers and what quantities that they should take, they should use for optimal production.
All right, and now can a farmer put his or her soil, can a farmer amend their own soil to just make sure that it requires what it needs to require to plant their own crops? Like, can they use a certain kind of fertilizer or manure in order to make sure that this soil of theirs is going to be like that for planting a specific kind of crop?
So the starting point is in knowing what is in the soil. And once we have been able to achieve an optimal level, and when we talk about optimal level, what the farmers want, what is the soil acidity? What is the soil pH in its farm? What is the level of manure? What is the level of nitrogen, phosphorus, well as other segments, so that they can be able to make a decision on how to do the soil management. And not necessarily fertilizers, but it's even how they do about preparing the manure to meet the crop requirements.
All right, and now any areas of ignorance in soil testing and analyzing in the market? Are there any areas of ignorance?
I didn't get you clearly, please.
Okay, any areas of ignorance in soil testing and analyzing in the market?
So it's this. What I would say is that most of our farmers are not aware.
We couldn't quite hear you
about
there.
soil testing.
Okay.
And so we need.
Sorry, Mr.
Sorry,
Bernard.
Kevin?
Mr. Bernard, can you kindly repeat on that?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that farmers have not been sensitized in this country about soil testing. And so this is an ongoing process into which we need to make it aware to the farmers that this is an important aspect of crop production.
All right, and now what is soil pH? Really, and why is it important for a farmer to understand this? Because many people usually plant crops maybe without even knowing what the soil pH is. So can you just explain to us what soil pH is, and why is it important for a farmer to just get this into his farm?
The soil pH refers to the acidity or alkalinity of the soil. It's a very, very important parameter that farmers need to take care of, because when the pH varies, it limits the absorption of nutrients by you have the nutrients in your soil, but the crop cannot be able to extract it for its own growth and productivity of the yield that you are looking for. What we have in the country is that we have who have received a lot of fertilizer, compromising or increasing the soil acidity. And when acidity is high, it leads to decline of absorption, especially phosphorus, that's macro element needed for crop growth. So an aspect that all of us need to check and make sure that it's at the right level for crop. When you look at different crops, there are those that bring acidic soils. Another requires neutral soils. Something like tea requires acidic soils, and therefore when you take the environment it requires, it will not give you the yield that you're looking for. While other crops like the maize and the coffee would require neutral environment and neutral soils, and when you take it to acidic level, then the yield declines, the crop performance also declines.
All right. And now for Fadhili Africa, where are you guys found, and your contacts, anyhow a farmer can get your contacts in order to get this good education from you?
Yeah, Fadhili Africa, we are located in the country, but we also have agents across the country. If a farmer wants to contact us, they can get us this number, 0721 519 576. And also you can get us on our website, which is www.fadhiliafrica.com, or you can also get us, you can search for us in the Facebook, you can be able to communicate with us.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Bernard, for joining us today for the show. We've really learned a lot about the soil pH and what farmers need to do in order to get good yields. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for hosting us and us being able to talk to farmers in the country.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. All right, then we are going for a short break. We'll be right back with innovations and agri-facts.
There's so many reasons to love sport, but one thing stands out. Numbers.
Straight from the big leagues,
Which is the biggest team in the English Premier League?
it is the numbers that make them stand out. Even when the muscles define the game, the numbers add value to the stats. Every swing comes with a number.
On Sports Center, we go behind the game. On Sports Center, we go behind the game for the numbers. Metropol Sports Center at this time only on Metropol TV.
Hoye! Tumerudi na kuambia sasa kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 ungana nasi ambapo tutakuwa tukiweza kuziangazia biashara ambazo zimeweza kuibuka wakati huu wa corona na pia zile ambazo zimeweza kuathirika lakini zimeweza kujimudu, kujikuza wakati huu wa corona. Haya basi, ungana nami Tabitha Mufoni kila Alhamisi saa 1:30 show ikiwa ni The Hustle.
Welcome back. This is Business Center right here on Metropol TV. Now, food security is one of the greatest global challenges of the 21st century. The global population grew to 7 billion in 2009 and is expected to reach over 9 billion by 2050. Now, it is imperative that innovative research in soil science will be fundamental in overcoming the growing threat of global food and fuel crop shortages as the world's population continues to increase. Now, today we shall be focusing on some of the innovations in soil science. Now we're going to look at the cover crops are an excellent addition to your soil improvement program. They can provide organic matter and nutrients, improve drainage and aeration, attract beneficial soil organisms, and act as an overwintering mulch. While cover crops can be grown in rotation with other crops at any time throughout the year, they are most popularly used during sunny period. Now, mulching encourages healthy soil tilth by retaining moisture and nutrients. It also saves time by reducing the need for weeding, watering, and fertilizing. How you mulch your garden beds depends on how climate. For example, heavier mulches are beneficial in hot, dry climates where moisture evaporation is high. In contrast, lighter mulches are more appropriate in cool, rainy climates where soil benefits from the warmth of the sun but still needs protection against erosion. After a pest outbreak, however, discard affected plant material. Avoid using mulches during the rainy period so as to avoid providing protection to overwintering pests. Now, in soil, organic matter consists of plant and animal material that is in the process of decomposing. When it has fully decomposed, it is called humus. This humus is important for soil structure because it holds individual mineral particles together in clusters. It helps soil hold important plant nutrients. You can increase the organic matter in your garden or farm by adding compost or applying mulch. Application of organic matter to the soil adds carbon, which promotes the growth of beneficial bacteria, which increases the likelihood of hearty plant. Amending the soil is important for good yields. Now we are also going to look at the nutrient accumulators are plant species that are often integrated into permaculture gardens. The roots of accumulators are said to collect specific nutrients from the soil. Now, these potentially nutrient-rich plants can be chopped back several times throughout the year in order to use the cuttings as a mulch. This may save money by reducing the number of soil amendments you need to purchase. Growing them may also improve biodiversity. Although there hasn't been a lot of research conducted on nutrient accumulators, now comfrey is most often cited plant. Comfrey is a shrub that grows in parts of Europe, Asia, and North America. It can grow up to 5 feet tall. It produces clusters of purple, blue, and white flowers, and it's famous for its long, slender leaves and black skin roots. Studies suggest that one can use comfrey as an organic DIY fertilizer spray. Now, after that, we're going to look at my favorite part, which is the agri-facts. pH is a measure of the degree of acidity or alkalinity. If you remember this, a value below 7.0 is acid, 7.0 is neutral, and above 7.0 is alkaline. I hope you remember this. You need to maybe take your book and write something down. As the soil pH decreases below 7.0, soils become more and more acidic. The lower the pH, the higher the acidity. Did you know that soil pH influences several soil factors affecting plant growth? Well, today on AgriFacts, we shall be looking at how soil pH is important in your soil. Now, soil pH, remember, is really important in your soil, as we have heard from our guest today. Now, most microorganisms have an optimum pH range for survival and function. At very acid or alkaline pH levels, organic matter mineralization is slowed down or stopped because of poor microbial activity linked to bacteria. Nitrification and nitrogen fixation are also inhibited by low pH. Did you know that? Now, most microbial processes, including the breakdown of organic matter and cycling of nutrients, are reduced in acidic soil because growth and reproduction of soil microbes, primarily bacteria and fungi, are reduced. Now, microorganisms break down organic matter and use carbon and nutrients for their own growth. I believe now you understand why this is really important. Now, plant growth and most soil processes, including nutrient availability and microbial activity, are favored by a soil pH range of 5.5 to 8. Now, acid soil, particularly in the subsurface, will also restrict root access to water and nutrients. The effects of soil acidification, which is also pH values from 6.5 to 3.8, and subsequent leaching on levels of extractable nutrients in a soil, were studied in a laboratory experiment. And now, below pH of 5.5, acidification resulted in large increases in the amount of exchangeable aluminium in the soil. Now, also, soil pH affects nutrient availability by changing the form of nutrient in the soil. Plants usually grow well at pH values of above 5.5. Soil pH of 6.5 is usually considered optimum for nutrient availability. Now, lower pH increases the solubility of aluminium, manganese, and iron, which are toxic to plants in excess. Now, soil pH also affects nutrients available for plant growth. In highly acidic soil, aluminium and manganese can become more available and more toxic to plant, while calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium are less available in the plant. In highly alkaline soil, phosphorus and most micronutrients become less available. Now, we also look at, as the amount of hydrogen ions in the soil increases, the soil pH decreases, thus becoming more acidic. Now, from pH 7 to 0, the soil is increasingly more acidic, and from pH 7 to 14, the soil is increasingly more alkaline or basic. Now, I believe you've learned a lot from that, and a point to note today, can you test soil pH from home? I think you need to really know this, and I can say yes, you can. Getting from what the guest has spoken to us today, yes, you can. It is possible to test soil pH at home. Just add a half a cup of water to the soil sample and mix. Then add a half cup of vinegar in the soil. Now, vinegar, if the soil shows a visible rubbling of fizzing action, then it has an alkaline pH. Get that clear? Now, the chemical reaction that you're seeing occurs when the acid, in this case vinegar, comes into contact with something alkaline, which is soil. Now, I know if you took your book out, you've had various educations and facts from this favorite segment of mine. Now, with that, today we finish this edition of Metropol Business Center. Today we had Bernard Ndungu from Fadhili Africa, who came and just spoke to us more on soil pH and what farmers need to do in order to gain good yields in their farms. Now, from everyone who made this a success, we want to wish you a great afternoon. Remember, next week, same time, same place, Wednesday it is. This is Business Center right here on Metropol TV.